Alright guys, it's Copper Cutlass and we are back under here, and as you can see I kind of positioned the rear end. Getting the rear end in here with these control arms is a little tricky. They got to land in the right spots, but it's not a big deal. Last night I came in here, I don't know how well you could see it, but I did manage to weld the backside of the frame repair that we did last fall, and you know, it's tricky to weld on this old steel because the backside's always rusty, so you get impurities and stuff in it, but the welds will hold up. I'm not the proudest of it, but it works. I know I got good welds on there, and it's also really, it was hard to clean in there. Tried my best, but it got the job done. I'll be honest with you guys. So today I'm just coming out here to button everything that bolts in to hold the rear end in. We're going to get the drive shaft back in. We are going to roll with the same old trans for now. Today I dropped off the 5,000 stall converter I got from my buddy JJ over at Midwest Converters. Have them clean it up. They cut it for me and inspected it right on the spot, and they said it's a nice piece. It's not bad. So I'm just going to be waiting on a call from them to get that back, but we're going to be ready to roll if this transmission indeed is bad. But we do eventually plan on making that change. But for now, since we just got done with the rear end swap, we got our backing plates in and they don't rub anything. We figured all that stuff out. We're going to see if that noise is still going on. But I seem to think that it might be the transmission, just for kind of how it sounded and where it was coming from. But overall, you know, the setup went well, and you know, we got a bunch of stuff done over the weekend, and I think I'm kind of shooting to maybe have this thing driving by the weekend so that I can take it for a drive and see where everything's at and make sure it's good. And then you know, I still got to take the cover off and put a gasket on it, and RTV at the cover is just on there to keep the dust out. We got to fill it with fluid, keep things happy. But so far, that's what I did yesterday, and today I'm going to get everything buttoned up, and it should go pretty smooth. So we'll see how it goes, guys, and I will follow it up once I get everything buttoned up. And then tomorrow or Thursday will be the day to button up all of the braking stuff, and then I'll bleed the brakes and hopefully get a nice day on the weekend to just take it for a little drive and see how everything is. We are supposed to have some nice weather, I think, so hopefully that works out, but I'll let you guys go for now. Alright guys, so I'm wrapping up today's video, and I don't think I showed you guys this, but I picked these valve covers up from JJ, and a couple of days ago they were just bare aluminum, and my good friend at work painted them matte black for me, and I polished up the fins and letters and all that shit. I'll take credit for that, but he just painted them matte black. It was kind of a rough casting, but you know, I'm like, I don't feel like polishing these things. It's a lot of work, and I don't like shiny stuff. Speaking of shiny stuff, I did get a smaller crank pulley at the swap meet when we went, and bigger alternator pulley, so you know, we might have a little less parasitic loss of power through the, you know, charging system, whatever. It's not the main reason why I did it. It's just that they're deeper grooves. I have a tendency to toss belts. That tends to fix the problem. And I'm going to install these when I go to do the valve lash, but we got a little bit of a ways to go before we do all that. But I figured I'd let you guys know what I got going on. Obviously, I got my pile of tools over here. I like to use acetone to clean stuff up because it's a little cheaper than brake cleaner. If you use the right rags, it works just as good. Obviously, it doesn't have the whole spraying effect, but it works out good. So, you know, as you guys know, we replaced the backing plates, and one of the big things was we had the drum rubbing on the backing plate, and actually I didn't even realize that it was rubbing on the wheel cylinder. So that was wild. But there's a couple of reasons why, and you know, it was cut in the past and it was shifting and stuff and all kinds of shit. And I welded washers to kind of keep it in place, but I just could never make it work. And I think I explained that the way that that was cut, it left slag, and you couldn't put the retaining plate on the axle properly. So whoever did the big Ford ends on this left the thickness of the backing plate for it to accept, like a receiver groove, I guess. So when I put the axles in, all the way in, tapped them in, and then I put my backing plate, the bearing and the backing plate actually sit flush. And then I put the retaining plate on and everything is happy and in place and it's good. Now, the main reason why I decided to redo this whole rebuild is because there was a little bit of slop in the spool, which it's okay, it's not bad, but I had to just buy myself some peace of mind, and I wanted to re-gear the car. And we got a little bit of play, but not a lot. It sounds worse right now because there is no fluid in there whatsoever, but that's it. It was worse with the other spool, I'm not going to lie. It was like egg-shaped. And we had the problem with the bearing and the race, and then when I compared the two, the new bearing race that Mosier Engineering recommends is wider, but also Richmond recommends the same bearing race and bearing, but you can't use the same race that is meant for the bearing that they're telling you to use. So for anybody out there, when you buy your carriers or your spools, pay attention to what you're using. Don't just buy the bearing and expect the race to work, because I think that's why we had that problem where the spool was moving around and it wasn't happy. The pattern on this thing came out great, and all I have left to do is pretty much just do my brake lines to the the T in the center, and then put up our hardware, obviously our gear, our brakes, our shoes and stuff. I got to clean them up, put the hardware back in and everything, and we're good. So and then after that, we're going to fill up the transmission and drive it, just to find out that I probably have to swap it anyway. But at this point, I want to do one thing at a time, not too much. And this is always wise, because like that transmission that I have ready to go was built like almost over 2 years ago. And in theory, there should be nothing wrong with it. It hasn't been used. I sent out the torque converter today to Midwest Converters, and I should be seeing it in a couple of days. I actually dropped it off, and they are kind of local. It's a 40-minute drive, and then I got to pick it up. But I got a 5,000 stall converter. We put 456 gears in this thing, so hopefully we'll pick up a little bit in the 60-foot and not kill too much in the top end. I did the math equation, and it kind of roughly comes out to we pretty much are going to be good, because we had about 400 RPM of real estate on the big end. So factoring in the converter slip and the extra RPM from the 456 gear, it should kind of put us right there. The shift light should be just coming on at the big end. So I'll get up from kneeling down because my knees aren't what they were. So I hope you guys have enjoyed kind of following along. I know it's been kind of loosely documented lately, and I've been kind of plugging away at this like daily, little by little, in the evenings, because I don't want to do this last minute. There's other things I want to do, but ultimately getting this car driving this weekend is very important, and then swapping out the transmission is fast, and then hopefully we don't run into any issues with that, which I'll explain, because the torque converter I got had some idiosyncrasies, but nothing that isn't rectifiable, and the converter shop's going to take care of it. But we still have to run a specific spacer on the Pilot. So I'll talk to you guys later. Share, like, subscribe. I hope you guys have enjoyed following all of my bullshittery of bullshitness. You know, did a Ford engine, a Ford transmission. I got my engine done and my rear end done in the last 4 weeks. So it's been kind of a madhouse just trying to document as much as I possibly can. We've been busy, but racing season is pretty much a month away for us as far as like getting on the track and testing. And the engine's good. And I'm not trying to really make the car faster. I'm just trying to get the car to 60 foot how I used to, and the ET should follow along. But for bracket racing purposes, the car should be pretty dead nuts. It always has been. So either way, I'll let you guys go. Share, like, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at Perky Oldsmobile. We will see you around, and I'll follow this up once we drive it.